continue to come in. If you see people having a hard time finding a seat, make sure you move in so there's space for everyone tonight.
Why don't you all have a seat just for a few minutes?
Yeah.
We're going to do a little bit of introduction.
How many of you tonight is the very first time you've been to a Heartland City Worship Celebration? Wow. We've been doing this once a month since the fall of 1996 here in the Twin Cities. And just want to kind of tell you what we're about and what we're not about tonight. Tonight isn't a concert, okay? So we don't want to put a concert on for you. Hopefully the music will be good. We'll do our best at that. But we're not here to perform for you. Tonight is a worship celebration. And worshiping means God's guidance. And so we come and we're joining together to bring praise to Him. The reason we started doing this was to provide an opportunity for Christians of different races and different denominations to have the opportunity to come together on a regular basis across racial and denominational lines. Our churches here in the Twin Cities are incredibly segregated and are incredibly divided across racial lines, denominational lines, socioeconomic lines, and urban-suburban lines. And we don't touch each other hardly at all. We don't come together. We don't know much about each other any more than what we see on TV or what we hear from somebody else who had a good or a bad experience. And there's a great need for the body of Christ to see itself as the body of Christ, to see ourselves not as a whole bunch of churches, but as one church with many congregations. And we feel like one of the best ways for us to do that and coming together is through worship and prayer. We can come together with one voice, sing a song together we agree about, and find ourselves in unity because we agree about that. But we don't camp on a lot of doctrinal issues. We're not going to talk about some of those things that divide us. We're agreeing about the main stuff, but we think is very important things. The creeds of the faith that have stood out through the centuries, and we're coming together in unity and worship.
Last weekend, I had to go to 2 weddings, and one of them I didn't know where it is, so I had to look up the church in the Yellow Pages. Has anyone ever had to do that? Look up a church in the Yellow Pages. And I guess I'd never had to do that before, and I opened it up, and it's like this thick of churches, and it's a Presbyterian church, and I had no idea there were like 10 categories of Presbyterian churches. Let alone, of course, Baptist and Lutheran and whatever it may be, E-Free, but I didn't know that, and as I'm looking, I'm like, I don't know what kind of Presbyterian church it is, it's like, so you're just paging through. But, after doing this ministry, it hit me so hard, and I was like, not only are we divided in these big main categories, but within each one are about, 30 different splits that split off about 30 different ways. And many of these things historically go back to things that are divisions over things we couldn't agree about, style and music and what color the pews were that year. It's sad but true about the church. And I'm not at all making a big statement about this. It's perfectly okay for there to be, many different denominations. But we at Heart of the City want to provide a place where all these different churches can come together about the thing we agree about most, which is the amazing glory of God and the sovereignty of His Son, Jesus Christ, and what He's done for us, to celebrate and to worship Him and to sing together. It just seems so right and so good to have one thing we can all agree about and come together around instead of the myriads of things that we split about and disagree about.
And so tonight, this is what you can get.